Welcome back, everybody. It's your pal Orange Hat here to bring you another video. So, the NHL announces a ban on Rainbow Pride tape on sticks just days after league is accused of allowing players to avoid LGBTQ people in leaked memo. So it seems that the NHL has just decided to become nonpartisan in any shape, way, or form of the LGBTQ issue because, well, they have already been railroaded for punishing their hockey players for having their own belief structure and basically saying you have to show support for something even though it goes against your religious freedoms. Because a lot of those players in the NHL who did not want to support the pride flag, and who also said that I'm all for people living the life they want, but I am not, but I also have my belief structure. Well, yeah, they got railroaded, and people tried to cancel them, and tried to cancel the NHL and whatnot. So yeah, the NHL said, you know what, screw it, we're just going to remove it, or the choice entirely. So this comes after the league also banned teams from wearing rainbow warm-ups. Yeah, so let's get into this. And the latest move from the NHL has taken to erase visible support for the LGBTQ people. The league has issued a complete and total ban on Rainbow Pride tape this season. The NHL confirmed the policy change to LGBTQ sports blog Outsports. They've also told the organization behind Pride tape that no player will be allowed to use the production or the product of their stick during warm-ups, games, or even practices. And you know what, folks? I support this. It's not that they are suppressing it. Honestly, I do not think there should be an LGBTQ flag. I do not believe there should be a black national anthem. I don't believe in anything that is segregationalist. And yes, these things are segregationalist. So earlier this year, the NHL announced that they would ban all pregame activity, warm-up jerseys, in direct response to the boycott taken by 7 of the hundreds of players in the league who wore rainbow-designed pride jerseys. In doing so, the NHL stressed the importance of individual choice. But now the league has removed all choice from the matter by banning what is effectively the final way players can be visible in their support for LGBTQ plus community. Here's the thing. A lot of whiners out there don't understand this. That when you go out onto the ice for practices, for games, for warm-ups, you are clocked in. Meaning this is your job. Believe it or not, when you are at a job, you are on the company's money. You are on their time, not your own. If the company decides to say, save that for your personal time, then you have to abide by it. Or you can be fired. That is the way the world works, folks. It is not anything to do with suppressing rights. Let's continue. Pride tape was never mandated by any team or the league on what was branded as either Pride Night or Hockey is for Everyone Night. Except that people were screaming and yelling that certain players didn't do it, calling them bigoted, homophobic. Why? Because they had individual choice to not want to do it. So them going after them is just basically saying, oh, you're bigoted if you don't support us with or visibly. Do I have any problem with LGBTQ people? I have no problem with LGBT or LGB or T for that matter. If you want to live your life, but leave the damn kids alone. Do not try to convince a child that they are trans. They don't know what they want. They don't understand any of that. That is not something for them to understand until they are older and able to absorb all of the information with clarity. Anyway, no players will be allowed. So yes, all this stuff is being banned. The league's ban on warm-up jerseys also means that the league bans warm-up for Black History Night, Hockey Fights Cancer Night, and Military Appreciation Night. This comes just days after ESPN's Ryan Clark leaked a memo from the NHL released earlier this year, which seemed to suggest that players could choose to avoid interacting with people identifying with a special initiative communities altogether. So basically, yeah, they're saying that they don't have to be forced or pressured into showing support for something if they don't support it personally. There is nothing wrong with that. That is simply saying, we're not going to force you to do anything. However, you know what? Screw it. We'll just make it so you don't have to. There's nothing wrong with how a company decides to dictate its policy. It is up to the workers to follow that policy. Now, if the policy does violate human rights, sure, there's a problem. But saying a person cannot engage in a policy that does no physical harm to anyone, that is not doing any harm. That is not causing any problems. It's only hurting people's feelings, but it is not causing an actual problem. Clark's reporting said that more than 8 teams raised concerns about part of the memo that stated players shall not be put in position of having to demonstrate or where they may be appearing to demonstrate personal support for any specialized initiatives. A factor that may be considered in this regard includes, for example, whether a player or players is required to be in close proximity to any groups or individuals visibly or otherwise clearly associated with people or with such special initiatives. All that is basically saying is that a person or that the players are not forced to do that. They can choose to say, you know what, I'm not comfortable with this. I don't want to do it. That's all that is saying. That's giving them the right to stand up for what they believe in. There's nothing wrong with that. Stand up for what you believe in, as long as it is within lawful bounds. I mean, if you support kids in very disgusting things, then yeah, that would be something that I would not want you to support. And if an institution ever supported that, which some do, sadly, well, let's just say that I would not be paying any attention or giving them any money for that matter. Anyway, sources told ESPN the initial reason behind the memo was to tell teams they couldn't wear specialty sweaters during a game, in warm-ups or at practice. The source added that the only off-ice restriction facing teams is that they can't force players to participate in events regarding the specialty causes, because some players might fear retribution or embarrassment if they decided not to take part. So yeah, that's basically saying you're not allowed to harass our players if they choose not to wear this or not to say that. They're not there to cater to your every whim. So yeah, they have the freedom to do that off ice. Anyway, to clarify their position, the NFL sent out an updated memo to all teams last Thursday that clarified the league's initial rule. It explained the league's restrictions from the league cover on-ice activity, while adding that players should be encouraged to express themselves off the ice. So yeah, essentially, as I said, if once you are clocked in for your job, you follow the job's rules. If you are off the clock and during your personal time, you are allowed to do whatever you see fit. So yeah, guess what? There's nothing wrong here. In its reporting of the Pride Tape decision, Outsports said that as far as we're aware, the most stifling anti-LGBTQ policy any pro sports league in North America has ever issued. Bullshit! All it is simply saying is that the company supports the group, sure, but they are making sure that there is a uniform policy. There is nothing wrong with a uniform policy. It shows that all players are united in this policy. And if players don't like the decision, well, guess what? You're fired. That's how the real world works, folks, because a company has every right to dictate its own workings and policy. When you clock in, when these athletes clock in, they are on the company's time. When they're on the field or the ice or whatever, they are on the company's time. And time is money for them. So yeah, there's no anti-LGBTQ thing going on. Those groups are just butthurt because they want to be given special treatment when nobody else is given special treatment. That's not the way the world works. You don't cater to one group simply because, oh, my feelings are hurt. So, yeah, they go on to cover all the earlier stuff. But yeah, all I'm saying is that if you are going to make a fuss simply because somebody says, okay, a company has decided to no longer allow these things on company time, then you shouldn't be there. You shouldn't work there. If you can't abide by a company's policy that you are working for, you should not have a job with them. Find a job that will suit your feelings. But honestly, I think you should find a job that gets you enough pay to make your way through life. Your personal feelings should be left into your personal life, not your professional life. Anyway, folks, that is going to be the video. Y'all know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, share, all that jazz. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Do you agree with the NHL banning all these specialized things? Or do you think that they are, suppressing human rights? Let me know all your thoughts down in the comment section below. This is your buddy Orange Hat. I'll be back for a later video. Y'all have a wonderful day now, and always remember, stay humble.